Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Leilani and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am doing a makeup tutorial for anyone who's learning to do makeup. This is a beginner friendly and step-by-step and detailed tutorial. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. So first, I'm starting off with separating my lashes with an eyelash separator. The way I keep shaking my head is so funny to me. After that, I put on mascara, and then after that, I separate my lashes again. So before I begin doing my makeup, for skin prep, I am using the Daily Facial Sunscreen from Trader Joe's. And this sunscreen is actually pretty good. It's pretty lightweight and it doesn't make my makeup look clumpy. Then I usually use the Cetaphil moisturizer. This one is for dry to normal sensitive skin, but my skin is more on the oily side and I have sensitive skin. Here, this is how much moisturizer and sunscreen I have together. I mix them together and I apply it to my skin. Make sure your hands are clean. So make sure everything is evenly blended and make sure that it is dry so that you can apply the primer. Now that everything is blended, you want to make sure that it's dry now before you apply your primer. Oh, and for the beauty blenders, make sure that the sponges are damped. You just want to run the sponge under water. Make sure to squeeze it while it's in the water, and then make sure all the water is getting soaked into the sponge. And then once it is all soaked in, you just squeeze the beauty blender and make sure that all the water is out. And then to make it less damp, I usually use a towel. These are all my beauty blenders. I just squeeze the beauty blender in the towel and make sure most of the water is out. Since my lashes are already ready, before I start doing my makeup, I'm gonna film a lash tutorial on how to get your lashes looking fuller and just not clumpy. So I can't really do it in this video because it's an overnight process. So make sure to stay tuned. Now for the primer, I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. Mix everything in. Then I bring it like around my jawline, basically around my face. Then make sure that is dry again. Okay, it's not completely dry, but honestly it doesn't really matter. Then I'm using the Milani Conceal and Perfect, the 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. This is shade 01A. This is my current favorite one now because it has medium to full coverage, and I just apply it to the back of my hand. Actually, I'm gonna put a little more foundation.
Look at this dude.
And I'm gonna put the foundation with my hand. Make sure your hands are clean, by the way. So I don't use any brushes because honestly I just find that this is way easier. Now that I put the foundation on, I'm just gonna wipe the excess foundation on the sponge and then start blending out your foundation. Make sure everything is like even. Avoid blending foundation in your under eyes. And to avoid my lashes, to be careful when you're going in this area. And close your eyes if you need to. Just make sure the beauty blender doesn't touch your lashes. Then once everything is blended out, I'm gonna use the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect Concealer. This is in the shade Light Nude number 115. Just apply it to your under eye and then a little bit on the outer side. Okay, I know it looks crazy right now, but this is how I apply my concealer. I use a different sponge for foundation and I use a different sponge for concealer. So for foundation, I'm using a sponge that looks like this. It's just a normal sponge. Then for concealer, I'm using this tiny sponge. By the way, this is for kind of like that bright under eye look. So if you don't really like a bright under eye, you can get a concealer where the shade matches more to the foundation shade. And I kind of go to my nose bridge a little bit like this, but don't cover your whole nose with concealer. So I don't know if you can see this line of the concealer. I just leave it like this. I don't really blend it out. I kind of bring it a little upwards so it kind of gives that lifted look. You can kind of see that the line connects to the end of my eyebrows. I'm gonna put some on kind of the inner corner of my eyes, and then I'm gonna bring it a little bit towards my eyebrows. And then I blend it out towards the middle side of my eye. Then I'm gonna apply more concealer to kind of like the middle of my forehead and then on my chin. I only put on a little bit though. This is what it looks like, and now I'm just gonna blend everything in. I do use a separate sponge to only blend this side, and then at the end I blend the under eye so that this part doesn't look unblended. It's like the one I use for foundation, but the other side is flat. I blend it in a circular motion, but don't bring it all the way towards your forehead. Just do a little bit of the middle. And then for my chin, I only focus on blending in the middle instead of like bringing it all the way out. I'm actually gonna bring it a little bit outer, but I only blend it in like very little. Just like that. Then to blend out the foundation on my neck, I'm gonna use this What
are you even trying to say?
I'm gonna use this brush. This is from e.l.f. called Ultimate Blending. The bristles are really soft. I'm just gonna blend it out and bring it a little down. Then to set everything in place, I'm using the Morphe setting powder. This is the translucent shade, and I'm using a powder puff. And when you're doing makeup, you want to make sure that you have a good setting powder, because when I would do my makeup, I didn't have a good setting powder, so everything just looked really dry and cakey, and it wasn't looking smooth the way I wanted it to look. I'm going to apply some to the powder puff like this, and then I'm going to use the back of my hand to blend it out, but make sure there's still some left. To blend in the concealer for my under eye, I'm going to use this beauty blender, the one I use for my chin and my forehead. So just make sure to blend everything out, because you don't want any creases to still be there when you apply your setting powder. We're doing one at a time, so I'm going to do this side first. Now that you have no creases, you want to work fast, so apply the setting powder on your under eye. I apply a little bit to the side of my nose, and if you think you need a little more, you can go ahead and apply just a little bit, because you don't want it to start looking cakey. So I'm going to put on a little bit more and basically follow the concealer line on the side. Now that we have one side, we're gonna do the other side. Then I'm gonna put some more powder on the powder puff, blend it out, and then I'm gonna put some on my eyelid. But also make sure to avoid touching your lashes. Put some on the inner side too. Then I'm going to do the same to the other side. This eye, whenever I put on my setting powder, this eye always waters. So if you ever have a watery eye, just use a dry Q-tip and just pat it. Don't wipe it, just pat it. Then I'm going to use some more setting powder. I know it's a lot of setting powder. Just apply some to the tip of the powder puff and blend it out again. But this time make sure there's a little bit more because I'm going to use it on places I crease the most. So for me, that is the bottom of my nose and then my chin. Just apply it, don't blend it out. Yes, I don't know if you can see, but it's not blended out and it's still like heavy. I do it on the corner of my mouth too, and then the smile lines. Okay, so you can see that the setting powder is very heavy. I haven't blended anything out yet because I'm going to use a small brush and put some setting powder on there and tap off any excess and basically just apply it to the rest of your face. And make sure not to touch your lashes. And then for my nose, I use a little bit more extra setting powder. And then to blend everything together, I'm going to use the same powder puff, but I'm not going to put any setting powder on it and just basically blend everything out. And then I'm going to use the bottom side to blend out my cheeks, my mouth, my chin, my forehead. I'm going to use some excess setting powder and just put it on the places that I crease the most and don't blend it out again. I'm just going to let it sit. While that is setting in place, I'm going to use, this is called the Butter Bronzer and it's from Physicians Formula. This is in the shade Deep Bronze. This is a good bronzer to use if you're barely learning how to, how to do bronzer. This is like my first bronzer that I've gotten before. So this is basically like easy to blend and it smells really good. It smells like coconut. To do the bronzer on my cheekbones and around my forehead, I'm going to use this brush. This is called Manage Multifunction Brush. So these pink brushes, I bought them off of Shein. I haven't even had any problems with them. Just make sure that when you first get them, clean them really well because you don't want to apply any like dirty stuff on your face. To apply the bronzer around your forehead, I'm going to use this brush. It kind of has like a swoop. So just apply some on the brush. Put some on the back of your hands so it doesn't look too dark or like unblended. And then just put some around your forehead. We're not gonna blend everything in just yet because we're gonna put some where your cheekbones are. So I apply mine kind of just a little bit above where your cheekbone ends. Basically, make sure to start at your hairline and then bring it out up to here. And then make sure to just blend it all in like that. And then we're going to do some to the other side. Okay, I know everything looks bold right now. We're going to blend it out. But first, we're going to put some, we're basically just going to connect the bronzer you did on your forehead to the one that you did on your cheekbone. I'm going to use another brush to blend everything in place. And this brush is called just the powder brush. Don't drag anything, just tap it all to blend it. Just very lightly bring it outwards. Okay, now we're done with the outwards bronzer. So now we're going to do the bronzer on our nose. So as you can see, the quality is a little not as good. Of course, my camera decided to die, so it's okay, we're good. What I did when the camera was off, was basically I blended out any excess setting powder that I had. Basically just pat it in, blend it all in, and then I use a Q-tip to get off any foundation or just anything that you have on your lips. Basically just go all around, follow the outline of your lips, but first make sure the Q-tip is wet or like damped a little bit with water. You can use the dry side too if it's maybe like a little bit too wet or just to dry everything out. Now we're gonna do our nose contour. So this is an old brush. So this is from e.l.f. and it's called Smudge Brush. This is what it looks like. This is the front and that's the side. So yeah, it's basically just like a flat brush. Just tap in the brush onto the the bronzer. Put some on the back of your hand too to make sure it's like not too much extra. You want to make a line on the sides of your nose, and then you want to bring it outward to your eyebrow. Make sure to do like a straight line. Do it lightly. If you think you need more bronzer, use any amount to your liking, but I'm not really going for that harsh look. Now that you have your lines, you want to bring it down a little bit to kind of like the point of your nose, and then just stop there. Don't bring it all the way down because we're gonna do that button nose illusion. Okay, now we're gonna bring it all the way up to the eyebrow. Just curve it just like that. When you connect the bronzer to your eyebrow, make sure that the bronzer isn't connected to the point of your eyebrow. You want to make sure that it goes like under, and we're gonna do the same to the other side. Okay, I know it looks harsh. We're gonna blend it out soon, but before we do that, we're gonna do that button nose illusion. My phone decided to be annoying and stop recording, but basically I already blended everything out. So what I use to blend it out is the contour brush. Also, I didn't do that button nose illusion yet. I'm still gonna show you guys, but this is what I did to blend it out, because if you let it set for too long, it's gonna look harsh and it's just not gonna look as smooth or as flawless. So basically you just wanna, I don't know what this is called, but just do that to blend everything out, and then you can even bring it down. I'm not actually doing it because I already blended it out. You can even bring it down to like lower than your nose bridge, and then the corner, just, I don't know, I don't even know what that motion is called, but it's not patting. When it goes below your eyebrow, you just do that and then blend that too. And then you can even bring it a little bit down too. Make sure everything is evenly blended. If you wanted to show a little more, you can add some bronzer too, but I'm just gonna leave it like this. This is what we've all been waiting for, that little button nose illusion. By the way, the blending brush is called the Contour Brush 9. And I'm gonna leave like any links to buy it. I'm gonna leave it in the description down below so you guys know exactly what I used. So what I do is just look up where you see the sides of your nose. You can kind of see, you're gonna like connect it kind of. Well, actually I'm gonna do it a little bit lower, just like that. And then you're gonna round it out a little bit, not a straight line. You want to make it like round. You're just gonna put a very little bit right here to make it look like a circle. On the bottom side of your nose, you just want to make a line to connect it, bring it down, and then fill in the triangle. We're gonna go ahead and blend everything out. I don't do any tapping, I just rub it all in. I don't know if you can still see it, but it's all blended out. Okay, I'm back on my camera, but as I was saying, I kind of want the little button nose look to show more, so I'm gonna add even more bronzer to the top part of the circle. And I'm not gonna blend that out just yet. I'm gonna let it set in place, because the more you let it set in place, the more it's gonna show, like the more harsher it'll look. Now we're gonna move on to blush. This is the Per Skin Blushing Act in shade Pretty in Peach, and this is just a matte blush. This is the brush I'm gonna use to apply my blush. This is called Sculpting Brush. Wait, before we do that, I'm gonna blend it out. So I'm just gonna tap it in, and you wanna tap any excess blush that you have. How I do it is basically you wanna start here, kind of like the corner of your eye a little bit, but you don't want to bring the blush to like the middle of your cheeks right here. I don't do it directly on my cheeks, I do it higher so that it gives that lifted look. Tap everything in, and I also bring it a little bit outwards on this side. That looks like a good amount. Now we're gonna do the other side. Start here and then bring it outwards. You don't want to bring it on this side. Now you have that peachy look, so cute. I literally love this color. I love how it looks. And if you've applied too much blush, don't worry. You can use the clean side of a powder puff, and I use this part whenever I do use a little bit too much, and just tap everything in. Then to have that even more brighter under eye look, I use the Keep Me Covered powder from Essence. This is in shade Fair, and this is number 10. Whenever I apply this, I always use a separate powder puff from the one that I use for my setting powder. Just tap it in, but like tap it around the powder puff. And then if you have any excess on the clean side of your hand, you just rub it all in to make sure that everything is like evenly. It's kind of the same as when you're setting your under eye, but what I do is I don't bring it to this side, so I only focus on like the under eye and like this bottom part, and then I also bring it up to the corner of my eyebrow. So I'm gonna show you guys, don't worry. Make sure you put it on the side of your nose, but don't really let it touch the contour. This powder is basically cleaning up the contour.
Get on my head.
And then bring it out, and I stop when it goes to at the corner of my eye. I don't bring it all the way outwards. A little bit too harsh. You can use the bottom side of it and just blend it out. I bring it to the corner of my eyebrow, but I don't blend it all out on my upper lid. I only do the corner. And then yeah, so do the corner of your eye as well. I don't know if you guys can see a difference. I definitely do. This side is brighter and looks more cleaner versus this one not as much. We're gonna do the same to the other side. Blend that all in, and then just go ahead and put everything and just clean it all up. The corner of my eyebrow too. Well, the corner of my eyelid basically. And then I'm gonna basically put it on my chin and then on my forehead. If you think there's too much, you can use the bottom side, pat it all down. And then just a little bit more. And then on your forehead. Don't bring it all the way up, just focus on the center and make it round. Blend it. You can use the back side. To highlight your nose, you can use a little more, but put it on only the corner, basically the tip of the powder puff, and then put it on the tip of your nose and then your nose bridge. But don't put any where you did that little line for the bunny nose. A little bit on the tip and then a little bit on the nose bridge. To blend everything, use the bottom side of the powder puff. Now I'm gonna clean up my eyebrows. I'm just gonna use a wet Q-tip. All I do for my eyebrows is I just clean it up. I don't use anything on my eyebrows besides some brow gel. This brow gel is called e.l.f. Brow Lift, the wet Q-tip, and then I use a dry Q-tip. To get that more like square look in the front of your eyebrow, just remove all the foundation off your eyebrows. So you make a line like this and you go below the eyebrow, and then you go all the way at the top of the eyebrow, then do the same thing all the way to the bottom of your brow. Then we're gonna move on to some highlight. I'm using the Makeup by Mario highlight, and this is in the shade Quartz, but it also says Master Crystal Reflector, so that's the highlight in detail. I'm grabbing a small brush, and this is the small fan brush 11. Just tap it, and I don't really care about excess when it comes to highlighter, and you just go on like right on your cheekbone kind of, and then I bring it out a little bit. And if you need a little more, you can use a little more, like there's never too much highlight. Then I'm doing the same to the other side. So now I have a small brush for the other parts of the highlight that I'm gonna put on. So honestly, I don't know where this brush is from, but it's basically just a really tiny brush. If I can find it, I'm gonna put a picture, but if I can't, this is what it looks like. It's just very tiny. I'm just gonna grab one side and I'm gonna rub the brush on the highlight, and I'm gonna put it on my eyelid, but I'm only gonna focus on this part of my eyelid and not like the whole thing. I'm putting it on the beginning part, the corner of my eyelid. I like to put a lot because I love having a sparkly eye. I grab a little more and I only do it on the crease of my eyelid. We're only gonna do a line on the crease. And then we're gonna do it to the other side. Then now we're actually gonna put it on the corner. So just a tiny dot. The other side as well, just do a tiny dot. I'm gonna bring it on the bottom of your eye, just the corner, just bring it out a little bit. Then I just tap it in, and I'm gonna put some on the corner of my eyebrows, just a little bit. I'm gonna use a little bit more and put some on the tip of my nose and my nose bridge. So I only do a dot, I don't do a line or anything like that. I just tap it in. And for the nose bridge, just do a line. Put some on my Cupid's bow, just a little bit. And to blend out the nose, I just use my finger just to rub it all in, make sure everything doesn't look too harsh or anything. And that is the highlight. We're not done yet. There's still a little bit more to go, so don't worry. So now I'm gonna use the brow gel. This is just the spoolie that I have. It's just a regular one. It did used to be straight, but I just bent it so that it can fit in the little container. Just tap it in a little bit. Brush your eyebrows up. Well, not directly up. You want to do it slanted, so. But when you get to the corner of your eyebrow, you just brush it up. Then I basically, since the hairs were up, you just go like this all the way down, and then the other side as well, all the way down, just like that. Now we're finally gonna move on to the mascara. To get my lashes to look fuller and just no clumps at all, I'm using this eyelash separator. Just separate your lashes. For my bottom lashes, I use the I Heart Extreme Waterproof Mascara from Essence. I only use waterproof mascara on my bottom lashes versus my top lashes, I'm using the I Heart Extreme Volume Mascara from Essence, but this is not waterproof. This is just regular. I just apply it like normal. Okay, I just did my hair. Now we're gonna do the top lashes. So I am using the Too Faced Better Than mascara. I'm gonna put a picture. This one is like my second favorite, but my number one favorite that I definitely recommend is the I Heart Extreme mascara. Just put on a very light layer. First, I bring out the outer corner. I pull it this way, and then the top part, I just bring it up, and then the inner corner, I bring it this way. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my lip liner. First, I use the Laneige. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I pronounce it as Laneige. So I'm using the Laneige Lip Glowy Balm, and this is the shade Berry Fruits Rogue. Whenever I want a more glossier look, I use this one. If I want, like, I guess a more matte look, I just use chapstick. Only put on a little bit because otherwise the lip liner is just gonna glide. It's not really gonna show up. So that's how it looks by itself. And for the lip liner, I'm using the Refi Lip Sculpt Crayon Sculptant in shade Dusk. I always start off with the bottom lip. And now for the top lip, I always start off with the Cupid's bow. I'm gonna connect the sides right here. I always start off at the bottom and bring it up so that it looks round. Before we blend everything together, I'm just gonna shade in the corner, the bottom corner of my lips. Just blend everything together. Don't rub your lips, just like pat it down like this. To your liking, I do a small line on my lower lip in the middle. And that is my lip combo, but there's still one more step, the final step. If you have any excess mascara, make sure to wipe it off with a dry Q-tip. I'm gonna separate my lashes one more time. Now finally, I use eyeliner just on my waterline. This is the MAC eyeliner Smolder Eye Kohl Crayon. So yeah, I just put it on my lower and upper waterline. I use the Milani Make It Last Matte Finish Setting Spray. So that is the finished result. That is my makeup tutorial. If you guys followed it, I'm 100% sure you guys look absolutely beautiful before and after. So this is basically my soft glam everyday look. Usually it only takes me like 30 to 40 minutes max. If you liked today's video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow my socials for any upcoming video. And if you have any comments or any questions, feel free to comment down below. I reply to all comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, or you can DM me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. Yeah, bye guys.